DrAli Griff. Dr. Ali is a published author, transformational speaker, and a startup business coach for women. She has dedicated her career to helping women start profitable businesses and to create wealth. Whether they are wives, mothers, career professionals who are seeking flexibility and freedom in their schedule or in their finances, Dr. Ali shows women how to have it all with highly functioning systems and strategies that maximize their time, their talents, and their profits. Dr. Ali, welcome to Empowering Queens TV. And we have some welcoming remarks from you.
Woo, 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 woo. Look, I brought my own cheerleading squad. Hi, everyone. It's an honor. Thank you to Questa. Thank you, Simone. Thank you, empowering queens that are listening right now or watching us. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to just share, co-create, and just love on you today. And I promise when you leave here, if you are fully receptive to what you hear, you will be able to transform your life immediately.
Awesome. Thank you so very much. And our co-host for today is the Limitless Life Coach. When we record, I am always saying limited.
No.
I'm always getting in problems for saying limited.
I know it.
Go right ahead.
Good evening.
Coach Simone, please go right ahead.
Good evening to everyone. As DeQuesta said, I'm Simone Elpo, the Limitless Life Coach, HR strategist, millennial mentor, and I just love these opportunities that we have to, first of all, to connect with DeQuesta because anything that she does is always amazing. And she is amazing.
Thank you. I humbly accept that. Thank you.
And especially this topic tonight, I definitely need it. So I am going to be taking copious notes. As you can see, you're always running from one thing to the other and then to your children. So I'm really excited to get all of the tips and strategies and tools to propel us as working mom entrepreneurs.
Awesome. It's always a privilege to co-host Empowering Queens TV with you, Simone. Thank you for always being so supportive. Now, we have a lot to cover tonight because Dr. Ali is a powerhouse. She is someone who has built her business, and I'm amazed at how she dominates social media. When I see her on social media every single day, I'm like, how does she do it 2 and 3 times a day? And so she's a powerhouse and a wealth of information. So Dr. Ali, we'll start with our first question for you. Good evening to our viewing audience. Good evening to those who are on the Zoom live. I see Kayleen Newton, Donna Mortimer. I know Merlin is also on the call. Yes, Kayleen has been bragging about you all day, Dr. Ali being her coach. I see Paulette Arthur, Judy Lundy, Shanae Sweeting, Ruth, Vanessa. We want to welcome you all to our live audience for Empowering Queen TV tonight. So please make sure and make use of the chat. Any questions or comments, we'd be grateful for you to place them in chat and maximize the opportunity to tap into Dr. Ali, who is drinking from her big cup. She has all of the answers for you. So we'll start with our question for Dr. Ali tonight. So Dr. Ali, as it relates to women, because our platform is all about supporting women, not that we don't like men, it's more about providing support to women to help them become limitless and to pursue their goals and dreams. Many of us desire to open businesses, or we may have businesses and not know exactly how to come from a place of being stuck in limited profits and brands, being able to heighten our brand. So what's the first step of what would you recommend as the first step that women should take when becoming an entrepreneur or self-employed or trying to work and be a parallelpreneur?
Oh my goodness, I love this question. I always tell women, and guys, right now I'm in New York, and I am hearing the loudest thunder ever. So I guess the above is in the space. So if I do lose you, just know I'll just jump back on. I just want to lead with that. For you out there, the first thing I always tell entrepreneurs or mompreneurs is just get clear on what it is that they want, right? Because a lot of us, we want things, we think we want things, and when we're not clear at all, we kind of start things in a hustle jostle. It's like all over the place. So we need to get clear on exactly what are the things that we do really well, what do people tell us that we're super amazing at. And once we start to get clear, and I'm not saying crystal clear because you don't need to know everything, but at least you have to have that clarity in, I want to start a blank. Even if it's, I want to start a business helping others. As you start there, then we begin to tap into, well, what will you be doing helping others? I always say get support through the process because it's a lot. It's a lot trying to figure out this entrepreneurial life. And if you can hitch your caboose onto someone who's done it before, it really helps to shorten the guesswork out of it.
Okay, so a lot of people struggle with that why question, right? Because I'm great at something, and you know, a lot of times when we're good at things, we minimize that. So that may not be the thing that we focus on because we're so good at it. So when it comes to why, I heard you talk about asking some clarity questions. So why do I want to help people? Why do I want to be in this business? So once you've discovered the why, how do you build from there?
All right, great. So another thing you can do with that clarifying thing, which I also tell a lot of my clients, is to ask about 5 or 7 of your friends, random people who you would work with, what do they think you do really well? Sometimes it's great to have them tell you. I just want to tap into that because you said a lot of us struggle with seeing what we're really good at right in front of our faces. So sometimes we have to hear it from others. People have to come and tell me that you help us to get clear. You help us to get into action. You help us to move towards the next direction. Really? I just thought I was just doing it. Just like how when we're in our gift, we don't see it. So for some of you who may have a little bit confusion on how do I get even more clear with the why, start with asking some others, what do you do so well, if you're not really tapping into that. All right, so now we're clear. Now we're trying to figure out now what is the first step that I do. Now in America, we have something that's called an LLC. We have to register our business. We have to make sure it's a name, either LLC or declare it a corporation. So we want to move towards making sure it's a legal entity. What I like to tell people, especially at this part, is to try it out probably for about 2 months or so, 2 or 3 months, before you go forth and do all the paperwork with making it registered. And the reason I say this is because I've seen some people who went forward and they did all the paperwork and everything, and they didn't have the whole plan out. So we want to make sure we're creating a plan. We want to make sure we're giving it a try. We like to do like beta test trials, or just, you know, seeing if, for those of you out there who think they want to become a coach, who want to move towards helping others, or feel like if you're that person everyone calls for the answer, then you want to make sure you really create a system where you try it out for a little bit, and then you plan on what does this overall business going to look like. Once you plan it out, then let's start getting it registered and making sure that it's a legal entity and that you don't get in trouble doing any of the things that you're doing.
Okay, go ahead, Simone.
Yeah, Dr. Ali, I wanted to ask a question along those lines because this is something that I struggled with for a long time. You know, people will tell you in business that you should have a single focus, that you should just focus on one thing and do it really well. What about the people who have multiple interests, multiple talents, and they feel like, you know, I want to pursue all of these things, or 3 out of 5 things, you know, like, do I have to choose? What do you think about that?
I always say start with one. Like, start with one. And there's 2 things you can choose, 2 ways you can choose which one you start with. The one that you're most passionate about, that brings you the most joy when you get up in the morning, that this is, you've always wanted to do it and you really are finally going to make that step, because sometimes we are led by our heart. And I never want to tell someone don't do that thing. And the other option is to choose the one that can bring in the maximum amount of money in the shortest amount of time, right? So that would be your highest income generating activity. That would be something that if you start immediately, it has the potential of bringing in income faster that can then fund the other dreams. So most entrepreneurs, we all have a lot. That's why we're entrepreneurs, because our brain thinks 1,000 miles a minute. Is anyone else out there that have more than one idea, more than one thing that they're super great at? I'm never saying don't do it all, because I do believe in 6 to 7 streams of income, of revenue generating income, because to me, that's what success looks like. And that's what we've heard from other successful people. I do say start with one, like really dive deep into that one. Get the system flushed out with that one. That's why I say build a plan, because if we have a plan and we're moving towards that plan, and I'm the systems queen, so I always say put in your systems. So all you have to do is rinse and repeat it or duplicate it with your next business that you decide to do. So start with one, because if you're starting with 5, you're going to be like this, hands all over like an octopus. And when your hands are all over like an octopus, you get burnt out. I know many of us know that feeling already as moms.
Yes. Very well.
Right?
So Dr. Ali, when you talk about this plan, what should be in this plan?
So I have this thing called, so there's a business plan. That's the formal business plan that we all know about and that we all run away from. Anyone else out there have heard of business plans? I have something called a 1-page biz plan. And on this 1-page biz plan, we just get really crystal clear on what is your mission, what is your vision, who are your target, your ideal clients or your ideal avatar. We also call that your target market, the people who you're going to be serving. What are your strengths, your weaknesses, the things that make you stand out from everyone else? It also goes into what are the things that your competition around you, who are your competitors? What do you like about your competitors that are doing the same thing? It's not a bad thing to look at it, but let's see who are your competitors, because we can learn a lot from people who are doing the same thing. And then this is my juicy sweet spot. What distinguishes us from that person? Like there are 5 different places that may serve hamburger or fast food or whatever, right? But yet there's something distinguished or different between each one. You figure out what makes you different. We also look at our marketing plan, and we also look at our financing forecast. That is a huge part. And I know my girl Kayleen is on. She's one of my coaching clients. She's one of the money maven. She is the finance guru. She helps my squad, my tribe, to get focused back into financing and making sure we're on top of our finances, because I know you're going to get to the question soon, but I'm just going to spoil the surprise.
Oh, you go, girl.
If we don't plan finances, that's how we end up making mistakes.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we're on top of our mistakes and that we're checking in on those finances. And it's what we run away from. But don't run away from it. Embrace it. Just do it in smaller, bite-sized chunks. So I have a 1-page biz plan. If anyone's interested in that, you guys can let me know. I can give you access to that. But keep it simple. Just keep it super simple, but have a plan.
Great. So we would like to get access to that. We can probably share the link with them at some point, either during or after this call, because I see a number of business people here. I actually did it along with you, and it brought a lot of clarity, even though I already had a plan. And the accountability aspect of your everyday, what did you do? Show me this, show me that, really helped to bring a bit more clarity to the plan itself. So that's all great. So
thank you.
Working women, and now some of us are not working, but we're working in the home, we're doing homeschooling, so we're doing other things on the traditional day-to-day work. We have a lot on our plates. What are some of your suggestions for bringing more balance into a woman's life, whether they're employed full-time or they're a homemaker with a lot going on and still trying to build a business? What sort of advice would you give them?
The first thing I would tell them is watch their time. Look at your time, because time is what tends to, like, we start without looking at what does our time look like what does our everyday look like. And I know it's not very predictable, but some things are super predictable in it. So with my clients, with my tribe, we usually tend to, within the first months of working together, we look at our time management, our time schedules. Where exactly are we putting time into our kids? Where are we putting time for our family? Where are we putting time for ourselves, that self-care time? I want to see your time blocks, right? And I know this sounds super anal, but the more you're able to look at your time, when you can look at that, and we usually do this for about a week or two, we have a schedule, a format where we just put it in. Every half an hour, we'll track what we're doing with our time. When we do that, we start to realize two things. One, that we are wasting our time doing a lot of unnecessary things. This is almost like that finance question when you realize you're wasting a lot of money doing a lot of unnecessary things.
Yeah.
So we realize the same thing with time. And then the second thing we realize, where am I putting time in there for myself? I get that a lot with my moms. They start to really identify that they weren't allocating time for themselves. So when we see our time, then we can figure out, okay, now in our time slot, where is our business time? Where is our CEO time? Where is it that we're going to be doing the planning, the activating, the nurturing, the marketing, the social media, all of the other good stuff that comes with business. But once you put it into your time slot, then you want to honor that. The time with your family, the time with yourself, the time with whoever you may choose that on your time slot, because it's your time. Don't look at anyone else's time because everyone is different. And then in that, you get to actually point out and put in specifically where your CEO time is. That is a game changer. That's why I told you, if you implement some of these things I say today, you are going to notice a difference. Once you are visually seeing that time that you're wasting, and what I call waste, honestly, as a CEO, is sitting down watching hours of brainless TV. Like, to me, I think sometimes, like, what does that do to our legacy? You know, how does that create our financial freedom?
Right.
So yes, it could be part of your self-care time, but we don't want to get too involved in that. Social media, that's another thing. That's equivalent to that. So we want to make sure even that is structured. The reason why it's important for us to be structured is because we're moms. And when we don't spend time in certain things, we feel guilty. Anyone else out there feels guilty. That's why their business is not flourishing, or why they're not doing their business, is because they feel like if they take time away from their kids or from their spouses or from their job, they have guilt. And I had it too, because my son is autistic. So I really had it. I double had it. And once I had the time scheduled, and I was like, okay, I see his time. I see where I'm putting time into him. And now I can see where I can put time into myself. And guess what? It's okay.
Awesome. So what if you don't know how much time you need to strategize for business, or how much time you need for self-care? What would some of those recommendations be? Like, what time blocks would you suggest to people to, so what would a typical week time block kind of look like for a guide for someone who has no idea?
So I would like to say, and I get this from Susie Carter, when you put in 10 hours, you actually get back 1 hour as a reward, right? So in order for our business to grow, if we want to see it grow faster, we want to see it grow more intense, we need to put in at least a good 10 hours, 20 hours. The reason why I don't like to tell people this part is because when they can't make that, they stop. And I don't want you to stop. I want you to know that even if it's an hour a day, even if it's a half an hour a day, then start with that. And then in time, as we review your time and we look at some other ways we can shift some things around, then you can build it up. So if you can start with an hour a day, if you can start with 5 hours a week, you know your schedule, you know your time. That's why they're individual plans. You have to make your time schedule. I can show you a general time calendar, and you'd be like, Dr. Ali, my life does not look like this. Like, so it's all based on your life and the things that you have to do and the time you have available.
Awesome. So Donna Mortimer says that she's always cognizant of work-life balance. She's a professional, an entrepreneur, a Grammy, and a mentor to many students and her family. So she wants to thank you for mentioning that, because that's awesome. So thank you so very much. Just want to remind you guys to drop your comments or questions in the chat as we continue on with our conversation.
Dr. I have a quick question on that, DeQuesta.
Go ahead.
What would be the role, do you think, of getting support from other people in your business, especially as a new business? Do you recommend outsourcing or, getting interns, or how do you recommend we can, even after getting those time blocks and we feel like, maybe this is a bit much for me, or maybe some of these things I'm just not good at,
Mm-hmm. So the system I use with that is I get help as soon as I can. Like how when you have your house and some people may decide, because it's so many things I have to do, I need help. So I'm going to get my mom, or I'll get a next door neighbor to help me with this part of my life. I believe that's the same thing with our business. If you can, the first amount of money that you can use towards it, then you want to start getting some support, whether it's a virtual assistant, whether it's an assistant that can help you to take off some of the things that you do, whether it's like you're saying, you don't like to do graphics, you don't like to make, you don't like social media. If you need to bring in mentees, if you can bring in other college students who may need credit, like there's so many ways we can work around this. So the thing about it is to know that it's possible. And I want everyone out there to just say, it is possible. Repeat it after me. It is possible.
Actually, type in chat, it is possible. If
it is possible.
Type it in chat. I believe it. Let me type it.
Yeah, it's not going to look easy, and it's going to look different from anyone else to the right or the left of you. And I give I have a free PDF guide. It's like a guide with 15 tips of how to move, things that you should do in your business to start and grow it. So I'm going to put that link in there. If anyone is interested, you can go and get it. It's absolutely free. And when you follow that step by step, you will know, like, okay, it's time for me to do this. Now, a lot are based on United States, so do what you can. I know everyone here is different, but it's very similar. It's not that different. Okay. And then make sure that when you're creating your time schedule, if you can bring in the lowest speed support, that's where you get the first support from, right? Now, some people, you may have family that can help you. Some people, you don't have family that can help you. My mom wanted to help me with so much. She wanted to help me with filing. She wanted to help me with social media. She just wanted to help me. You know what I told my mom? Mom, you know what helps me the most right now? Can you please cook and separate them into bowls and help to make that part, and then keep Zachary for me on Friday nights and Saturday mornings. And she was like, that's it? I'm like, you don't understand. If I can just get you to help with that part, that frees up an extra block of my time schedule and where I can actually focus on my business. So the help and the support, sometimes it comes from your friends or your family, and then the help or the support can come from other students. Students love social media. If you can get a college person or a high school person that you can mold or mentee into supporting you with simple social media or simple graphics they love, things that people do super well that they don't mind doing to help, and or charge very low.
Awesome.
Does that help?
Yes, she says
yes. Yes, it does. Very much, very much.
So Dr. Ali, before we move on to our next question, and guys, just take note of the fact, and so great when you're on the Zoom call, you get all the bonuses. And so Dr. Ali has placed the startandgrowyourbiz.com link in there. So you can just click on that link to download the template that you're referring to. Dr. Ali, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I had to type it out again because I knew better. You're supposed to do the TTP thing. Okay. So it can be typable. I'm here doing
Thank
I'm
you.
being the butcher maker and the candlestick maker. Here I am.
Okay. And so, Dr. Ali, before we move on to our next question, I just wanted to ask you, we get bogged down in planning sometimes, right? Sometimes we have so many ideas, and as we start building it out and writing it out on paper, we want it to be perfect before we take any action. What advice do you give women to move beyond planning once they have that shell? What sort of encouragement can nudge them now to take steps?
So by nature, I'm a Virgo, and I don't know if we have any Virgos out there. And if you know a Virgo, Virgos are super perfectionists. Everything that I used to do before, it had to be top notch, or else I'm not releasing it. what I began to realize is when I held on to to whatever I was going to release, whether it's a program, whether it's my coaching membership, whatever, my academy, the doubt that started to kick in between then, and then, you know, we're our worst judge, right? So we're going to look at all the things that's wrong. Like, we'll look at the same work in front of us, and we tend to find what's wrong with it. Meanwhile, someone else may not even see that.
Yeah.
I had to tell myself this one phrase: release the need for perfection.
Woo.
Release the need for perfection. We hold on to perfection so much in our life. And I learned this as an autism mom. I went through years of pain and guilt and shame of having a child that was quote unquote different and wanting him to be perfect. When I did my personal development work with my coaches and started to really get clear on it, it was, I wanted a perfect child. I felt like I wanted to be perfect. And every time we're not perfect, we tend to think it's wrong, or we think less of it. So when I really tapped into that part of releasing that need for perfection as an autism mom, as a mom who went through divorce, I had to say to myself, wait a minute, it's fine. Really, just send it out, press play, like press send. Like, for all of you out there who have ideas, who may do something, who are the ones that put together content or put together the idea and then just take it and throw it away in the garbage, or just don't press send, or they just leave it right sitting there because you got to think about it. And then next month, you got to think about it again. 6 months later, you're still thinking. A year, 5 years. And I'm saying this because I want you to identify. If that's you, type 1 in the chat. If that's you, just say that's me. Like, own it, because you're not alone. We've all been there. Press play, send it out, press send. We're going to learn from it. If there is something wrong, guess what? Now we have something to fix because it's out there.
Yes. Yes. Awesome.
Thank you, Ruth. I see you.
Yes. We have a question from Facebook. Ty Glinton is asking, how do you communicate your business value to your customers who don't understand the nature of your service?
That's if your customers don't understand, that means you're not explaining it clear. So we have to get clearer on how we express it, how we giving it to them. Now, what I had to learn, especially as a doctor, was that I used to complicate things. Like, I used to say these really big words and it just didn't fit what they needed. And not to say they're not educated, it's just that people don't want to have to figure out the word and figure out the action. Like, can you tell it to me simple, please? So as a mom also, I had to learn how to communicate with Zachary. I'm also an audiologist and speech language pathologist, for those of you out there that don't know. I use these strategies with families, simplifying things. So get clear on what results are you bringing to your clients. You have to know these 2 things for sure. You have to know what are their pain points, and you have to know what is it that they desire.
Okay, awesome. Those are beautiful. Can someone type those in chat for me, please? What are their pain What are their pain points?
What is their desire? And then here's the juicy part. Here's a juicy spot. This is where you come in. How are you the solution to those pain points and or the catalyst towards those desires?
Awesome. Powerful. Thank you.
Once you know that, then you can use their words right back at them. Now you can explain it to them. Because once I hear my pain, once you're saying with my clients, the pain is, I've been trying to start a business for so long. I don't have support. I don't know which direction to go in. Those are their pain points. So I can come in and I can say, as a startup biz coach, I help you to get clear on exactly where to start. I give you simple steps and tools on how to navigate towards creating your business. And I provide support so you don't feel like you're alone in this. I just provided your pain point, their desire, where they want to go, and how I come in as a solution for them.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, yes. I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I had to learn. So as I'm learning, I'm just here coming back up and share it with other people because I needed that. My coaches helped me a lot, and I feel like it's a disservice not to do things like this, to not come out and give people possibilities and solutions, and to let you know that it is very possible.
Awesome.
Okay. Dr. Ali, what are some common mistakes that women make in business?
Ooh. Plenty. All right. What are some common mistakes we make? The first one is we doubt ourselves. You know, we see ourselves less than, and it's usually because of either not hearing it enough in our life or it just being something new and we're not giving ourselves enough grace. So we're pretty tough on ourselves as women. We have this, especially moms, we have this thing, and we're going to go back to perfect, where we just want to do things well. Like, we don't want to look like a fool. I hear that a lot. I want to look like a fool. You doubt yourself more than you really are. You give yourself less credit for what gifts that you truly are gifted at. So that's the first thing. Another thing that we do is we listen to what other people say. We let others rule our next steps. And it sucks to say, but it's so true, right? You will say, I don't care what anyone says. The minute you do a live or the minute you produce something and no one comes and get it automatically, or you hear things of what people say, then it shrinks you. You got to know that, and I don't know who out there are believers, but you were given a gift, and your gift is for who is to receive it. And that not everyone is there to receive it. So the people around you just may not even see your vision. The people around you may not see your gift, but that person you were called to serve, the group of people you were called to serve, the businesses you were called to serve, they will identify with your gift. They will see your gift in you. Your gift is not for everyone. You're welcome with that. Somebody needed to hear that today.
Yes, absolutely. And it's mindset from what I'm hearing you say. And that's where a lot of our troubles begin.
And number three, right? Number three is we do it by ourselves or we do it without any support. Like, and I'm talking about either coaching, mentoring, someone who's done it before. So we're out there doing it hard. Like, there's no reason we should be doing it so hard. Get the help, get the support, get a tribe. And sometimes the tribe does not look like your friends. Sorry, it doesn't sometimes. Sometimes your friends are great to help you in the process. And I've learned through the process, I have friends for different purposes in my life. And I have friends that are my entrepreneurial friends. They help to support, they help to navigate. They're the ones that will encourage you when you're stumbling. They're the ones when you're up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, they're up typing at the same time while you're creating.
Yes.
Keep yourself surrounded by other people who are like-minded and want the same thing for themselves. Don't be around the negative Nancys.
Awesome. That looks at it, DrAli.
I know I pissed somebody off out there. Oh well.
So DrAli, what systems do you use that bring you freedom? Freedom with your schedule, freedom with making profits while you're sleeping? Like, what are some of the systems that women can use in business building that you use?
Automation. Automation is key. So the first thing I'll talk about, because you're in my Mompreneurs group, I have a Facebook group called The Mompreneurs. Now there are 50 million The Mompreneurs, but you have to actually go to the group and go to The Mompreneurs. And I'll put the link in there in a few for those who are interested in there. And what I do is I plan ahead the week. I actually plan ahead for the month. And if you're with me for coaching, you'll see we plan ahead for the quarter. So at the beginning of the week or every 2 weeks, the posts that are supposed to come out are already scheduled in to come out. The emails that are already supposed to go out to create connections are already scheduled to go out. So the planning time, that time we have on that time schedule, that's when we're putting together the content and what we need out there. And if we're producing a product, if it's intangible or we're actually in the physical places. So we want to create systems so that things can flow smoothly. What don't I have? Everything I have is systematized. Why? Because life, I have a lot of things on my plate, right? I'm an audiologist, speech language pathologist. I am a founder of a nonprofit organization, Smart Fit Fam. I have an autistic kid. I have family. I love carnivals. I'm a carnival addict. Thank goodness 2020 kind of slowed that down a little bit. So I love to travel, right? And I'm a speaker. I'm out there doing a lot of things. And then I have my coaching and personal development practice business. So systems help me to be places, be in carnival, have a good time, and know that my money is still being made. There's still programs that are there. There are automated programs that are there. There are digital programs that are there. I take content in batches so that they're already scheduled. And the best joke I love to say is I was on a soca cruise. Forgive me, I love soca. My family's from Guyana and Trinidad. And one of my friends were next to me and they said, I just got an email from you about your podcast. Your podcast just dropped. I was like, systems, automated. So that's what you want to have. You want to have it so that you take time and you start implementing your systems throughout it. There's systems for every aspect of your business. I can go on and on and on about each one, but I just spoke about the social media posting one because Sequesta mentioned it. And the number one thing I hear is, Dr. Ali, I see you everywhere. And I'm really not everywhere. It's just an illusion. You just make sure to create a really good illusion, and then you still show up in person. You still show up when you can.
Awesome. A final question. Wow, our time has really flown by, Ali. Final question is, what would you say are the top 3 opportunities, if you have 3, if not 1 to 3 opportunities, women miss when business building?
The 3 opportunities that women miss during business building. 1, they don't see that they have support around them. Like they miss what's already around them, if that makes sense. Like how I mentioned how we can ask our mom to cook. Like we forget to ask and say we need help. So that's one of the major things we miss. We miss what's already around us because we're thinking conventional things. And we have to learn how to think out of the box.
Yes.
How to think different.
Yes.
Right? So that's the one opportunity that we're missing. We're missing what's around us. The second thing we miss is, I think we miss the simplification of things. Like, I think for some reason, I know the reason is because as a child, we were taught just to do things a certain way. And especially as Caribbean, for those that are out there that are Caribbean, our culture is so step by step, and you must do this, and you must go to school, and you must go to get married, and you must this, and you must that. And when we don't we feel less than, and or if we do it different, we look like the oddball out. So we're always complicating things. Wow. Stop complicating things and keep it super simple, and you realize that, wait a minute, I can do that real quick, or I can create a system with this, or I can get help with this.
Wow, that's powerful.
And then the third thing we do is we limit ourselves. We limit opportunities that are all around us. We limit opportunities that are all around us. And how do we do that? We miss out on the fact that the person next to us that can help us, we're not asking, but we're also missing out on the fact that, and I believe in God, so I'm going to say God for those out there who believe in other things, you can fill that in. He puts everything that you need around you at the right time.
Yes.
So if you trust in that, and if you move in action, because you can't trust and not be in action, but if you're in action and you trust that what you need will show up exactly at the right time, your business will move towards it. So you're missing that opportunity of knowing that we have everything around you it's already created. Who you are to be is already there. You just have to trust, believe, and get into action.
Awesome. Wow. What a powerful conversation. Thank you so very much, Dr. Ali. Thank you, Kayleen, so much for capturing the notes that we were not able to capture. I see Simone is driving and I'm managing.
Tribe. That's a tribe sister for you. Thank you, Kayleen.
Thank you so much, Kayleen, for that. Dr. Ali, before we close, I'd just like to ask, maybe 2 or 3 people to volunteer and tell us, what the value of this session has been for them, what their greatest takeaway from our 45 minutes together. Do we have any volunteers who would like to share how you found tonight's session, what your takeaways are? If you would like to volunteer, you can just go ahead and unmute yourself. It's great to get feedback.
I'm sorry for my background noise because my grandbaby is sitting next to me.
It's okay.
But I want to say Dr. Ali just for making me feel normal. I think that one of the things for me is always And I know Kayleen is my cousin, and she knows I feel like I'm being pulled in so many different directions and I can't seem to focus, even though I know I need to. So I just want to say thank you for making me feel normal, that it's okay not to be 100, but to focus on, go into one area, try and make that, perfect that area, and then move on. Know that it's okay to have multiple streams of income. It's not a sin. It's not, someone's not going to beat you across your head. All the eggs don't need to go in one basket. So I just want to say thank you so much to Quessa, and thank you so much, Dr. Ali.
Thank you so very much, Ruth. Can we get someone else to share with us before we close out our Powering Queens TV episode tonight? We get one more person to share about tonight's session.
Everyone's being shy.
Yes.
That's okay. They're gonna come in. Those who are watching this on social media, you guys still get the opportunity to write it down. I will pop in. I'll pick out the pages and answer if there's any questions. The free guide is startandgrowyourbiz.com. If you go there, you get the PDF, get the guide, get the checklist. Just go through it nice and slowly, and definitely see how we can stay in touch at DrAliGriff.com.
And Donna Mortimer says, thank you so much for sharing.
Anytime. Get clear, guys, and get in action. You got this.
Simone, is over to you.
Well, this has been an amazing 45 minutes. I can't believe that the time has already gone. And of course, you know, my ear perked up when that last point was on being limitless. And I think that is, for me, the biggest takeaway in all of this is that we have the power. We have more power than we give ourselves credit for. And we have the power to take control of our schedules, to take control of the activities, to take control of our attention, you know, and everything that's around us. As you mentioned before, you said so many things that are my personal mantras of confirmation for me tonight, that everything that we need is already in our life, and it's just a matter of us taking the opportunities that are around us to think differently, to think differently from the normal way that you would always want to approach life and approach business and approach work and even approach parenting. You know, a lot of the things that we take on in life, you know, don't make sense. And we have to just give ourselves the permission to do it differently if that's what we want to do. So thank you so much, Dr. Ali, for tonight.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Go ahead.
I was saying thanks for having me. Yes, give yourself grace, sis. You're doing it, and the people who you need to help you to get to the next place will be right around you. You just have to trust everything.